In the heart of a sun-drenched village named Abodo, nestled between rolling hills and dense, whispering forests, lived a girl named Amarachi. Her name, meaning God's grace, echoed through the vibrant lands, yet she felt anything but blessed. From a young age, she bore a scar that traced ominously down the left side of her face, a reminder of a childhood accident, a mishap with the family's dilapidated car that her father, a mechanic, had been trying to mend. What happened that fateful day hung heavily over her, leaving a wound beyond the surface. The villagers idolized her father, a man whose hands were often stained with the grease of hard work and tireless devotion to his craft. To Amarachi, he embodied resilience, consistently reminding her, "Beauty is found in the heart, my child. Your worth is not in your reflection but in your strength, kindness, and the goodness you spread." Yet, such wisdom faltered in the bustling halls of Abodo Secondary School, where children did not hold similar views. Crafty whispers and cruel laughter pursued her like shadows, each word a dagger slicing deeper into her fragile spirit. Among her tormentors, William, the so-called golden boy of the school, stood out. With his captivating smile, perfectly styled hair, and the aura of entitlement bestowed on him by wealth, he had a powerful influence that flowed through the corridors like the rushing river, sweeping all under its turbulent waves. "You look like a broken pot, Amarachi," William would exclaim, laughter trailing from his lips, igniting the inferno of ridicule amongst his friends. She would flinch, her heart constricting as they pointed at her eye patch, where she sought refuge from the world's judgment. But Amarachi refused to let despair suffocate her, holding tightly to the teachings of her father, drawing strength from the flickering flames of hope that ignited deep within her heart. Each morning, she donned her eye patch not only to conceal her scar but also as a shield against the scorn of her peers. She wore it like a warrior's armor, reminding herself that she was more than a scar. Days turned into weeks, and with every sunrise, Amarachi faced the same relentless torment. One fateful afternoon, while the sun scorched the red earth, a series of horrid events unfolded. It was lunchtime, and the familiar aroma of jollof rice and beans wafted through the air. Amarachi clutched her tray, trying to ignore the pointed looks and sneers of her classmates. But as she approached her usual spot, a trap laid by William and his gang awaited her arrival. Hidden beneath the table was a puddle of water, glistening with malice like a snake prepared to strike. Unaware, Amarachi settled onto the chair, only to feel the icy coldness seep through her dress. Laughter erupted, a tidal wave crashing around her, drowning her dignity. "Big Amarachi has peed herself." Classic. William's voice boomed, accompanied by the howls of his friends, suffocating her under smothering waves of mockery. Yet, she felt an inner force surge within her, rising like a phoenix amidst the flames. Instead of letting sorrow seize her, Amarachi stood up slowly, facing the arena of jeers. "I may be wet," she declared, steadiness hardening her voice, "but I'm not drowning in arrogance like you." The cafeteria froze, the surprised silence a mere moment of calm before the storm. News of Amarachi's steadfast retort spread like wildfire through the village, but the daily brickbats did not cease. Feeling more alone than ever, she found solace in an unlikely alliance with Mrs. Ella, the school cleaner, whose kind eyes and gentle smile seemed to understand the depths of her struggles. One gloomy afternoon, noticing Amarachi's pain, Mrs. Ella approached her with a wisdom that transcended age. "Child," she said, her voice like warm honey, "I see you carry a heavy burden. You must learn to respond to those who throw stones at your heart, not with anger, but with gratitude. It confounds them." Amarachi listened attentively as Mrs. Ella handed her a small jar of herbal ointment. The earthy scent wafted into the air as she instructed, "Use this on your scar. It's time to heal not just the surface but your spirit." That evening, with the moon hanging low as a guardian, Amarachi hesitated but dipped her finger into the ointment and applied it tenderly on her scar, hoping for the strength to face the next day. The next day dawned bright, casting hopeful golden rays upon her village. As Amarachi prepared for school, she reminded herself of Mrs. Ella's words. When she arrived at school, William wasted no time. "Hey, Amarachi. Did your father fix your face, or did you take the car for a spin?" he sneered, the mockery embedded deep within his tone. But this time, armed with the power of the herbal ointment and Mrs. Ella's wisdom, she felt an unfamiliar calm wash over her. With a smile, she looked William in the eyes and calmly replied, "Thank you. Silence enveloped the space, astonishment sweeping across the faces of onlookers. "What did you say?" William blurted, confusion kneading his features. Amarachi shrugged lightly, a small grin playing at the corners of her lips. "I said thank you." His bravado faltered as he stood there, words slipping from his grasp. Something in her demeanor disrupted the usual rhythm of his mockery. The crowd's laughter faltered, whispers replaced their jeers. This new Amarachi intrigued them, and they watched with renewed curiosity. As days turned into weeks, William began to exhibit strange changes. He grew increasingly withdrawn, plagued by unease whenever he saw Amarachi, as if her words had wrapped around him like a serpent, squeezing the very essence of arrogance from within. His laughter faded while whispers of his unraveling dignity spread throughout the school. "It's not just illness, it's guilt," Mrs. Eller would say when others questioned William's newfound frailty. "The heart carries burdens far heavier than mere flesh." Meanwhile, Amarachi found encouragement from her peers. Those who once laughed began to seek her company, intrigued by the radiance she emitted. Word of kindness found new paths to her heart, giving her the strength to push back against the darkness that had held her captive. But beneath the surface of this blossoming self-assurance remained a storm brewing in William's world, a tempest of consequence, remorse, and unseen turmoil. The day came when William's resilience crumbled completely. It began with a cough that echoed through the school corridors, drawing the attention of his classmates. Days passed, and the cough deepened into a fever, forcing him into a state of helplessness. His parents, increasingly anxious, sought help from the finest doctors, appealing to every healer known, yet none could find a cure for their son. As his body weakened, William's spirit remained trapped between regret and fear. The day finally came when his mother sat by his side, eyes swollen from sleepless nights, and spoke delicately. "They say you must seek forgiveness from Amarachi. Only then can peace find you." Desperate, William's parents sought out Amarachi's family. As they approached her humble home, doubt crept into their minds. What would they say? Would Amarachi be forgiven, or would she let anger triumph over compassion? Amarachi's father, a man of integrity, opened the door and welcomed their plea. "Forgiveness is powerful," he said, a fire of hope igniting in his heart. "Our children will learn from their mistakes, but it takes courage to own them." When they brought the request to Amarachi, she hesitated, the weight of her scars forcing her to reconsider. "I can forgive him," she said finally, "but only under one condition: he must leave the school and never bully anyone again." Ultimately, the decision was made, and so it was that they gathered in a small ceremony by the riverbank, where waters danced and glistened under the sun, a sacred place of reconciliation. The air felt electric as Amarachi spoke the words, "I forgive you, William," sending ripples through the hearts present. That very moment, through the power of forgiveness, an unseen light enveloped him, radiating warmth as if the universe breathed anew. William, floored by her grace, felt the burdens lift from his soul. William's recovery was nothing short of miraculous. As he regained his strength, he eagerly left the shadows of the past, embracing the grace of second chances. Days turned into weeks, and he learned to champion those he once bullied, redeeming himself among the students who whispered tales of both their past and their triumph. Amarachi, in contrast, transformed from the girl plagued by judgment to an emblem of power and beauty, respected and admired for her resilience. No longer did her scar mark her as a target, rather, it became a symbol of strength, a tale woven into the tapestry of their community that spoke of sorrow, healing, and love. Abodo blazed with vibrant colors, filled with echoes of laughter that mingled with the scent of earth. Amarachi and William became unlikely allies, their bond now forged in mutual understanding. They shared their stories, taking part in community gatherings to inspire hope and kindness, proving that forgiveness can alter destinies. William's parents regularly offered support to Amarachi and her family, helping pave new paths, nurturing growth in the village. As seasons changed and life flourished, the tale of Amarachi and William became woven into the fabric of Abodo, a legend passed between generations. It resonated with every child who faced the storm of bullying, illuminating the mirrors of their hearts. Through Amarachi's journey, the village learned that beauty radiates from within, that scars need not be seen as flaws but as tales of survival. Years later, as elders recounted the story under stars that burned like lanterns, Amarachi's legacy lived on. She had built a sanctuary for children like herself, a place dedicated to healing. The girls and boys gathered to share their tales, the weight of life somehow lessened by the power of unity. William stood beside Amarachi, reminding them, with sincere hope, that the battle against unkindness begins with a single act of courage. And so, in the village of Abodo, the seasons continued to change, painting the land with shades of love that grew deep within each child's heart. Amarachi, once known for her scar, became a beacon of light, proving that true strength and beauty arise from the scars we carry and the grace with which we face life's storms.